We back
All right.
after abruptly ending the first episode, but I think it was still good. Oh shoot, where's my drink? I'm gonna grab my drink.
Give
You
me
entertain
the
them for
drink,
like
bro.
5 seconds.
Hey, man. So this is going to be a quick advertisement on 1800s tequila. I'll have you know that this is the best kind of tequila that you can honestly
Wait, they're
have.
not paying us yet, so don't say that.
Ah.
They're not paying us, so.
Fuck. Well, consider it free advertisement and you can pay us later.
Okay. Anyway, Japan. That's where we were.
We were in Japan.
Japan's economy. So we were saying how I made a mistake, by the way, on our previous podcast. The yen to Canadian dollar, I said it was 10 to 1. It's actually like 100 to 1. So that's what. Sorry, that was bugging me for a little bit.
So it's like, well, what does that equate to exactly? So if I have $10 in Canadian funds, what does that equate to in yen? Quick maths.
Was it like 100?
No pressure, bro.
Wait,
pressure.
no. Like if it okay,
I don't
like
know,
one
bro.
Canadian dollar is 100 yen.
I'm
Right?
asking this when I have no idea what the answer is.
Yeah, something like that.
Fucking
But that was
no.
in May when we went. May.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think that was a whole different time too with their economy. But I think like it's kind of picked up a little bit in terms of like the power of their currency too. I believe.
Is it?
I feel like it is. It's just my gut, this very arbitrary gut feeling that I have in my soul that like I'm rooting for you, Japan. I'm rooting for you. But anyway, what when it comes to their currency, another thing that really pops into mind is just like how their society behaves.
Right.
I like the one thing that was a huge culture shock. I think you and Kristen would probably agree on this too. Is that like it was just so clean.
It was very clean. Yeah.
It was ridiculous just how organized, civil, and clean everything is. And to take into account the fact that like there is 35 million people
in Tokyo.
in Tokyo, just
Yeah.
Tokyo alone, really takes into it really opens up your mind as to like, dude, the way that we're living here with 35 million spread out in
Yeah.
Canada alone.
Yeah.
What are we doing, guys?
I don't understand how a culture can, get everybody on board in that sense to be like, oh, everything is gonna be clean in our country.
Yeah.
Because without getting too political, how do we do that here?
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I know a lot of people, Americans, when they go to Toronto,
Yeah.
they'd be like, oh, Toronto's cool. It's like a clean New York. And I'm just like, dude, compared to Calgary, where we are,
Yeah.
Toronto is like super dirty,
Yeah.
which is like crazy. And
Yeah.
everyone says Calgary is one of the cleanest cities in the world, actually. But
Yeah.
did you know that? Like, Calgary is actually one of the cleanest cities in the world.
Do you think that like kind of boils down to population too, though?
Well, we have like 1.5 million people.
1.5 million, and then like what like the general metropolis is like what, like 3-4 million people?
No, like the metro is 1.5 million.
So how would you compare like what other country like has like 1.5 million people?
Country or city?
Or sorry, city. Sorry, barely.
1.5 million people. I think comparatively. Oh, I don't know, man.
Shit.
I don't know, man.
See, that's the thing is like I really feel like it boils down to like population at the same time, right?
Yeah,
and
that
I mean
is
just
true.
like I guess like yeah, I mean like but the thing is that like with Canada it's just like a huge melting pot of like different cultures too, right?
Actually, that's a good point. In Japan,
Yeah.
they're all Japanese.
Yes.
In Canada, there's like different cultures.
So people are just like born to be like on the same page.
In Japan,
Yeah.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, because I guess like when you take into consideration of like Canada, right, and it's like you got people coming in from like the Philippines, people coming in from like Germany, India, wherever it may be, right? It's like they grew up on different ideals and different ways of living, and
that
it's
is
like
true.
it's just like it clashes.
That is true.
Like maybe throwing out garbage in the middle of the street is just like an custom in like certain places, but like over here in like other places, like nah, you can't.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you control that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like here, weirdly enough, Calgary is still clean, but there's still people are able to throw stuff on the street, I guess, or
Yeah.
they still do. When I was in Taiwan, and I think actually in Japan too, were there like trash cans. Here there's like trash cans on the street.
Yeah.
But then in Taiwan, I remember specifically when people would have bubble tea, they would take the wrappers of the straw and tie the wrapper around the straw on their bubble tea. And I was like,
Oh.
why is everyone doing that? And they're like, oh, because there's no garbages that you can throw out your garbage. You just keep your garbage. And then here, I think there's garbages everywhere that you can just throw out. So it's just like different approaches, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would like. Do you think that it's more effective to do it the way that Taiwan did it versus like here?
Well, I guess it's ingrained in their culture to just like not litter. Here, like you can quote unquote still litter, like
Yeah.
who cares kind of
It's
thing.
like almost generational. That
Yeah,
you kind of have to
yeah.
just like establish it within society at hope that you can establish this now and then like it will eventually carry on
Right,
30, 40 years from now, right?
right.
Yeah. But then you know what was crazy is that like when you go from Japan to the Philippines.
Yes. So actually, we talked about Japan. What was the best part of the Philippines in our trip in May?
Oh man, like the people were so accommodating, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were, like in terms of like just the friendliness and I think it was nice because like everybody spoke English, because in Japan and and that's a lot of the reason why like you never see many Japanese people in any other countries is
Yeah.
because they love living there.
Yeah, right.
And they're very proud of essentially being Japanese,
Right.
And it's like, yeah, they just because of the tourism aspect, they will carry certain English terms, maybe some sentences, maybe they'll understand some English, right?
Right.
But like in the Philippines, they just speak English, bro.
Yeah, it's a very tourist-friendly country
is.
in that way.
It
Yeah.
is, man. And it's like, and I mean, to not to boil down to the specifics, but it's crazy to think about it, is that like in general, that because of the fact that the Philippines has adopted such Western ideologies and also the English aspect of it too,
Yeah.
that Tagalog, which is the primary, the primary language in the Philippines, it's considered a dying dialect.
Yes. Yeah, I get that. I know because, people always say that if you want to make it big, learn Mandarin, learn Hindi,
Yeah.
the Indian language, and
Yeah.
the Chinese language, because those populations are growing. Philippines' populations are growing, but also the language is dying because Filipinos understand that English is a very important tool to have when doing business.
Yes.
And Chinese. So a lot of Filipinos are learning Chinese.
Are
and
they?
a lot of Filipinos are learning English.
Oh, shoot.
And consequently, like you said, because so many people in the Philippines know English,
Yeah.
and tourists can get by without knowing Tagalog or anything, then Tagalog is kind of dying. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not very often that you'll see a lot of countries invest in the Philippines and like want to learn the language.
yeah, and I've always actually this is funny because I do want to bring this up. This is something that fascinates me as well. I've taken note that countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand,
Yeah.
those Southeast countries, they're really being like more they're becoming more and more popular. So when people say they're going to Asia, they say Thailand.
Yeah.
They say they go to Vietnam, but no one really says that they're going to the Philippines. And I always thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then I saw a video explaining why, and this is the reason. So in order to get to the Philippines, yes, it is English friendly, like people will speak English, but the logistics of getting to the Philippines and being in the Philippines is a lot harder.
Is it?
So if you were to go to Thailand, if you want to go to Vietnam, Vietnam's right there. Like it's the same land.
Right.
When you get to the Philippines, you have to go through the worst airport in the world, which is Manila.
Yeah. For sure.
Ninoy Aquino?
Yeah.
The worst, known as the worst airport in the world.
Crazy.
That's where you land, and then in order to get to other islands, the Philippines has the most beautiful beaches in the world. That's a fact.
Yeah.
You still have to stuff to fly. You have to boat over there. So logistically speaking, people don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then as opposed to Thailand or Vietnam or Cambodia or Laos or whatever, you land, you can just drive wherever you want. You can take your own car.
That's so true.
And just drive.
It's very much like a Europe kind of experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the logistics of the Philippines is just like, that's why a lot of people don't tend to go, even though they do realize that there's lots of beaches
Yeah.
and beautiful beaches.
Yeah.
Bohol was crazy when we went.
Bohol was beautiful, yeah, but it was honestly so hard to get there
It
too.
was so hard to get there. And then you went to
Yeah.
Siargao.
I went to Siargao, yeah,
Siargao.
and that is a tourist spot, by the way.
That is a tourist
and
spot.
it was actually pretty difficult to get there too. Like they have like they have the infrastructure down where they just recently built the airport over there.
Yeah.
But the problem is just like if you're not going into Manila particularly, it's just you're looking at a bad time. They really you're looking at a third world country that doesn't have much to really invest into, like, you know, proper, like, planning out the proper logistics between flights and just like
Yeah.
accommodating a high amount of traffic of, you know, people wanting to see what this place is about,
Right.
And it's like, it's just technically Siargao only blew up maybe like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
which is crazy, right?
Okay.
And in those 10 years, they only recently just started to, you know, take into consideration the traffic that is coming into that particular town. But if you actually like, it's very similar to Vegas, where it's like there's a strip where you'll see just only white people there, right?
Okay.
And then everything outside of that strip is just like, it's like literally a village, bro.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy. And like that's the thing, is that they're just recently trying to like accommodate that commercialization.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So would you say that they're not prepared for it? Is it
They
like,
really aren't.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like they're trying to, but I mean, like with the Philippines is like, I think if they had the same kind of organization as like other Southeast Asian countries, we would be equally as elite. You know what I mean?
And this goes to, funny you say organization, the corruption in the Philippines is something like that's a big topic as well, right?
I think they're hitting a boiling point over there, man.
Right.
Like, I mean, with the whole what I think they called it, like, I want to call it Watergate, like it's like
Watergate.
Richard Nixon, but it's like,
Oh, yeah.
they have like the Floodgate scandal is what they're calling
Yeah,
it, right? And like it boils down not only to how they're controlling their flood situation out there, right? But it also boils down to every single branch of government, every single branch of like privatized corporations. It's actually insane how much corruption goes behind the scenes.
Right.
And how the Philippines, the people itself, is just they're getting the backhanded, like, you know, shit end of the stick.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's been like that for how long? And that's something that I have taken. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's something I think about a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
How 30 years ago, Korea was in the same spot as the Philippines. You know,
Yeah.
like in the 80s when our parents grew up, Philippines was actually very well off. It was like
Yeah.
an American economy.
Yeah.
The what's it called, Manila peso was strong. And yeah, it seemed like it was a very well-off country. It was destined to be the next Asian big powerhouse.
Yeah.
And Korea was not.
Yeah.
South Korea.
Well, yeah, you gotta make it particularly South Korea.
and then something switched where South Korea the government heavily invested in the production of the media, whatever.
Yeah.
Like K-pop,
Really worked to their benefit
K-dramas,
there,
and
yeah.
whatever, right? And they just heavily invested it, and then in the past 20, I want to say maybe in the past 10 years is when it really exploded.
Yeah.
15 to 10 years, 10
Yeah.
to 15 years. And then Philippines just it didn't grow. I think
No.
it's growing now, from what I can tell, like just very minimally, but not exponentially
I think
the
they're
way
really
South
investing
Korea
in
did
tourism
in Philippines.
in the Philippines.
You think so?
They that's like what their primary thing is like tourism.
Well, I know they're making a new Manila airport.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. They're trying to accommodate.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is like it's really grown from what I've noticed in the last 15 years or so. Like, you know, people are like, hey, Philippines, friendly people, good food,
English
beautiful
speaking.
beaches, English speaking.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect formula for like any kind of tourist spot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I could same thing probably applies for like South Korea in terms of like the media aspect. It's like, you know, you have talented people, you have a government that's willing to invest in the media, so then they have a global reach, right?
Right.
And it's just like, it's just, you know, it boils down to like what really is your priority to bring people into that particular country. I could even, you could dare I say, you could speak the same thing for China, bro.
Yeah. Well, I think China is a little bit different in that, and they've always been this way. And I feel like that's the reason why they didn't conquer the world before.
Yeah.
Is because they kind of were focused on themselves.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, China's also in that way. Like, like they don't do TikTok, they don't do Facebook, they don't do Instagram. They have their own versions of those.
Yeah.
Because they just want to do their way, their things the Chinese way. And yeah, like BYD, right? That's their EVs. Like, there's no Teslas in China, and then you rarely see BYDs here. I don't know if I've seen a BYD in Calgary.
You can't, because right. Due to tariffs and whatnot.
Exactly. So like, I feel like China now they want to make the Chinese brand, expand the Chinese brand. I feel like they're doing that now.
But you got like what really blows my mind, and it's like the same thing as what you said about South Korea in terms of their investment in the media. So then they have that global reach, like say with like K-pop and whatnot. You could say the same thing when it comes to technology and just their overall, just where they are in terms of their technology, like in the last 10 years is insane. China, dude. Like, I mean, you got to look at like how their smartphones.
Yeah.
Their smartphones are extremely competitive, very much the equivalent to what iPhones are here.
What's that? Like Huawei, right?
Huawei's, and then they have another company, I can't remember it off the top of my head, Xiaomi or something like that.
Okay.
Which they produce smartphones, and they just, I think over the last 6-7 years started to develop EVs.
Yeah.
And those EVs are extremely competitive, probably the equivalent to what Tesla is over here.
Right.
Actually, and that's the big thing that really scares the big conglomerates of automotive companies here in the US and North America, is that none of the EVs, none of the companies that are making electric vehicles here in the North America is actually making any money. They're not making any money.
Oh, but why is everybody buying them then? Like, I see Teslas everywhere.
They see it because of the benefit of the lifestyle aspect. But per vehicle, right, and the cost of making them, none of these companies are making money. Ford is not making any money. GM's not making any money off these vehicles.
Okay, the American ones. Yeah.
The American ones. Tesla's making money, right? But it's just because they invested in terms of like their production, right? So like they have the factories to really back that up, right? But the only companies that I could say that are probably making some serious money and better profit margins than Tesla is the Chinese companies. So BYD particularly is making insane money right now. And eventually, once they've started to really make a certain margin in terms of their profit, they're going to go into the North American countries where the tariffs are going to be implemented. And even if they implement those tariffs, right, it's not even going to matter. They're still going to be equally as competitive as Teslas.
Right.
And all it takes, and it's the same thing as how the Japanese took over back in like the 1980s, with going against Ford and whatever.
Honda, Toyota.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you tariff them. If people want to buy that car, they're going to buy that car, and eventually it's going to be profitable. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And that's just where China is in terms of like how, like, I don't want to say revolutionary, but they just know how to like implement the population they have and the infrastructure. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of like China taking over the world is pretty crazy to think about.
It is insane to think about, man.
Like, how another thing that I like to think about a lot is ever since the 1600s, the UK was kind of the middle of the world, and then ever since the 1800s, the US was kind of the middle of the world.
Yeah.
Like, the world revolved around the UK, the world revolved around the US for the past how many centuries. And then now, are we shifting towards a Chinese-centered world?
Insane, man.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And I mean, like, but it's kind of hard because like you have like that very competitive aspect with China and the U.S. with, I mean, of course, the relevance of AI, right?
Yeah.
With AI, it's like you have, of course, like the U.S. with like OpenAI, Tesla with Grok, and Google with Gemini. But then there are also Chinese alternatives that do equally as well, but at a very low operational expense.
I've never heard of them. Like, and that's the thing with this too. Like, any of these Chinese brands or Chinese
Yeah.
companies, I don't know. Like, I know they're better probably,
Yeah.
but I don't know of them because I guess maybe the North American wall where they're just
propaganda,
like,
man.
yeah,
That's the thing, is like we don't really know because of the fact that like they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know that there's like better
the
alternatives.
North America,
Yes.
U.S. doesn't want us to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we don't like to believe that we're living in a propaganda state, but that means that propaganda works.
Mm-hmm.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
And it's like that's the thing, is that like these companies in China, like especially with AI, they do everything maybe not as good as like the North American alternatives, but I can guarantee you that they do it at a lot cheaper of a rate, because like I mean, look at like OpenAI right now, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the amount of data centers that they're building, and the operational costs of just like, you know, actually consuming national resources. You know what I mean? It's just so expensive.
Yeah, and then like you see how much during COVID too, you saw how much like these tech workers are making, and you're just
Yeah.
like it didn't make any sense. It's like,
It didn't.
How are they making this much money? Like the standard of living and what it costs to live in North America, in the U.S. specifically, I guess, and obviously Canada. Anything that the U.S. does is influenced by. Anything that Canada does is influenced by the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes like there is so much money in the world, but how does it feel like over here it's just still not enough? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's actually going into that, like, is actually crazy. Like, how if you have a particular special kind of role in, or something that you're really good at in the tech industry, it's like, dude, they literally, like, Meta was actually infamous for this, where it's like they will hire somebody that has a specialty, right? And they won't even use them. They'll just like keep paying them a certain salary for a few years, whatever it may be, just because they don't want like Google to poach them or something like that.
oh, so yeah, and that's the whole point. That's the whole thing of capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Is like just competition.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah.
I was reading like somebody like got hired by like Meta and got paid like a ridiculous sum out in California, like somewhere along the lines of like 400 or 500K.
Yeah.
And it was like the only reason why they were getting paid that was because they didn't want to get poached, or Meta didn't want them to get poached by Google. And the crazy thing is that person, I gotta look back into that article, that person didn't work or barely worked.
Yeah. It's just like they just didn't want the competitor to have them. So, oh, man, that's ridiculous, man. So, on the individual level, if you're that person, well,
Yeah.
props to you, like power to you, right?
Yeah.
But on the like the global scale, you're like, this guy's making too much money. Like, what?
He's making
like,
too much money,
yeah.
and like his use in the world and like what he can do for the world is being prohibited because of capitalism. You know?
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like maybe communism is not the worst idea.
Bro. Like, I mean, like, hey, let's go view Zoran Mandani in like maybe a few years from now, yeah?
Yeah.
See where he goes. Maybe in episode 75 or 100,
Yeah.
we could probably talk about Zoran in that aspect, see how he's doing, you know?
Yeah, sure. We'll
Yeah.
check it out. But I guess like we'll end the episode here because, yeah, I have to leave pretty soon here. So
All right.
that was a great episode. We talked,
Indeed, man.
We went in depth with that.
Oh, bro.
I think that was a very guy episode too.
That was such a dude episode.
Yeah.
For the females listening,
We have more to us.
yes,
Yeah.
we do. We promise you we have other things.
All right.